the sleek silver ships of the Galactic Confederation appeared in Earth's sky on a Tuesday morning. They hovered above major cities, their massive hulls reflecting sunlight as humans stared upward in wonder and fear. After decades of speculation about alien life, first contact had arrived without warning. Admiral Park stood on the roof of the United Defense Command headquarters, watching the alien vessel through his binoculars. His gray uniform was perfectly pressed despite the early hour. Behind him, a team of officers waited nervously for orders. "Sir, should we activate our defensive systems?" asked Lieutenant Kim, her hand hovering over her communication device. Park lowered his binoculars slowly. "No. Remember the protocol. They must see only what we want them to see." The protocol had been established 50 years earlier, when Earth's nations finally united after centuries of conflict. The world's military leaders had made a decision based on humanity's long history of warfare. If aliens ever came, Earth would hide its true strength until necessary. The Confederation landing party arrived 2 hours later in a smaller shuttle. The aliens were tall with blue-tinted skin and eyes that seemed too large for their narrow faces. Their leader, who called himself Ambassador Toll, smiled at the human welcoming committee. "We come in peace," Toll said through a translation device. "The Galactic Confederation offers friendship to developing species like yours." Admiral Park noticed the slight tone of superiority in the alien's voice but kept his expression neutral. "Earth welcomes you," he replied with a small bow. Over the next few days, the aliens conducted scans of Earth's visible military installations. They saw only what Earth wanted them to see: outdated missile systems, basic space stations, and defensive technology that appeared primitive compared to the Confederation's advancements. When the aliens requested a tour of Earth's space defense network, they were shown carefully prepared facilities. Underground, beneath oceans, and hidden in distant parts of the solar system, Earth's true military power remained concealed. "Your species has potential," Ambassador Toll told Admiral Park during a formal dinner at the United Nations. "With Confederation guidance, perhaps in a few hundred years you will catch up to the galactic standard." Park nodded humbly. "We have much to learn." What the aliens didn't know was that humanity had achieved technological breakthroughs centuries earlier that the Confederation had never discovered. Earth's scientists had developed weapons using principles the aliens had never considered: hidden fleets that could emerge from dimensional pockets, and defensive systems that could reshape matter itself. 2 weeks after first contact, the Confederation invited Earth to join as a probationary member. The terms were clear. Earth would receive protection and knowledge in exchange for resources and support in the ongoing conflict with the Vekari Empire. "The Vekari are warlike and expansionist," Ambassador Toll explained during the signing ceremony. "But do not worry. They rarely bother with primitive planets like Earth. The Confederation will ensure your safety." Admiral Park signed the agreement with a traditional ink pen, a choice that made several alien representatives exchange amused glances. Later that day, he met with Earth's Defense Council in a secure room deep underground, shielded from any possible alien surveillance. "The Confederation is at war with this Vekari Empire," Park told the assembled leaders. "Their scans show they believe we are centuries behind them technologically." General Choi, the oldest member of the council, nodded with satisfaction. The deception protocol worked perfectly. "What about the Vekari?" asked Colonel Song. "Are they a genuine threat?" "Based on the data we gathered from the Confederation ships, they are advanced," Park replied. "But not as advanced as they believe. Their weapons are impressive but follow predictable patterns. They've never faced humanity's approach to warfare." The council reviewed images of the Vekari, red-scaled beings with 4 arms who controlled nearly a third of the galaxy through military conquest. According to Confederation records, the Vekari ambassador openly mocked Earth when he heard of our admission, Lieutenant Kim reported. "Called us soft prey not worth conquering yet." Admiral Park smiled for the first time that day. "Perfect. Our greatest advantage has always been being underestimated." The Council finalized Earth's strategy: continue appearing weak while gathering intelligence about both the Confederation and the Vekari. Selected human representatives would join the Confederation Council, led by Admiral Park himself. As Park prepared to board the alien vessel that would take him to the Confederation headquarters, Lieutenant Kim approached him. "Sir, how long do we maintain the deception?" Park looked up at the stars becoming visible in the evening sky. "Until they threaten us," he said quietly. "Then they'll learn why humans survived their own violent history. We don't start wars, but we know how to end them." 3 months into Earth's membership in the Galactic Confederation, Admiral Park walked through the Grand Hall of the alien space station. The massive structure orbited a distant star, serving as the meeting place for the hundreds of species that made up the Interstellar Alliance. Despite the wonder of his surroundings, Park kept his expression carefully neutral. "Admiral, the Confederation Defense Council meeting starts in 10 minutes, said Lieutenant Kim, falling into step beside him. She carried a simple data tablet, deliberately outdated by human standards. "Any word from home?" Park asked quietly. Kim nodded slightly. "Phase 2 is complete. The decoy bases on Mars and Europa are operational. They look primitive enough to maintain our cover." What neither of them said aloud was that the real bases, vast underground complexes with advanced weapons systems, were now fully functional but completely hidden from alien scanning technology. The Defense Council chamber was a circular room with tiered seating. Representatives from 20 major species sat around a holographic display showing the current state of the war with the Vekari Empire. Park took his seat in the section reserved for probationary members, far from the center of power. The Vekari ambassador entered last. Tark was an imposing figure with red scales covering his forearms. His upper set of limbs were adorned with battle scars he displayed proudly. "The human joins us again," Tark said, his voice translator barely masking his contempt. "I hope you're taking notes on real warfare, Admiral. Your kind might need these lessons if you survive another century." Several Confederation representatives shifted uncomfortably, but none contradicted the Vekari. The uneasy peace between the two powers was clearly fragile. Park bowed slightly. "We are grateful for any knowledge the Confederation shares." The meeting proceeded with reports of Vekari advances in the outer systems. 3 Confederation worlds had fallen in recent weeks. The holographic display showed the enemy's steady progress toward the core planets. "The humans have established their first off-world defense posts," reported the Confederation's military advisor, displaying images of the decoy bases Earth had allowed them to discover. Tark made a harsh sound that his translator didn't convert. "You call those defenses? My smallest scout ships could destroy them in minutes." "We are still learning," Park said with apparent humility. Later, in their private quarters, Park met with the small human delegation. Captain Lee had just returned from Earth with new orders. "The Vekari are getting bolder," Lee reported. "Their scouts have been detected at the edges of our solar system." "They're testing our responses," Park agreed. "Did they detect anything important?" "No. They only saw what we wanted them to see, a few patrol ships with basic weapons. Nothing that would concern them." Lieutenant Kim pulled up a secure holographic display showing the true state of Earth's defenses. Hidden throughout the solar system were thousands of advanced weapon platforms. Beneath Europa's ice, a fleet of warships waited, powered down to avoid detection. Inside hollowed asteroids, missile systems stood ready. All invisible to conventional scans. "Earth Command has authorized the next phase," Captain Lee said. "We're to continue sharing only obsolete technology with the Confederation while gathering all possible intelligence on Vekari battle strategies." "What about the artifact Team 3 discovered?" Park asked. Kim typed a command into her tablet. "Analysis confirms it's a Vekari communication relay. We've been monitoring it for 2 weeks. Their encryption was complex but not impossible." This was another advantage humans had discovered. While alien technology was advanced, their approach to security was often straightforward. Humans, having spent centuries fighting each other, had developed much more sophisticated encryption and countermeasures. "Their fleet movements suggest they're planning something major," Lee observed, studying the intercepted data. "Possibly an attack on a high-value Confederation world." Park considered this information carefully. "Continue monitoring. If they plan to attack a civilian target, we may need to provide the Confederation with intelligence without revealing our methods. The meeting continued as they refined Earth's strategy. To the Confederation and the Valkyrie, humans appeared to be struggling newcomers to galactic politics. This perception was reinforced daily through careful interactions and selective technology sharing. As the meeting concluded, Admiral Park stood by the viewport overlooking the vast station. Distant stars shone against the blackness of space. "Do you ever wonder if we're being too cautious?" asked Lieutenant Kim, joining him at the window. Park was quiet for a moment. "My grandfather fought in humanity's last global war. He told me something I never forgot: in peace, prepare for war. In war, prepare for peace. We don't know enough about either side in this conflict yet." "The Valkyrie ambassador really believes we're weak," Kim said. Park nodded. "And that is our greatest strength. Throughout human history, underestimated forces have often prevailed against overwhelming odds." In the darkness of space beyond the station, a Valkyrie warship passed by on patrol, its weapons systems clearly visible as a show of strength. "Let them think us weak," Park said softly. "When the time comes, if it comes, they'll learn why humans survived their own violent history." The alarm sounded throughout the Confederation station, its high-pitched wail cutting through the usual hum of activity. Admiral Park was in a diplomatic meeting when his personal communication device vibrated. The message was simple: Valkyrie fleet entering Sol system. Park excused himself calmly, giving no indication of the gravity of the situation. In the corridor, he met Lieutenant Kim, who was already rushing toward their private command center. 3 Valkyrie dreadnoughts with support vessels, Kim reported as they walked quickly. They bypassed the outer warning systems completely. Inside their secure room, Captain Lee was already coordinating with Earth Command. The wall display showed the Valkyrie fleet's approach, massive red warships moving steadily toward Mars. "They're not even trying to hide their approach," Lee said. "They want us to see them coming." Park studied the tactical display. "They're expecting us to panic. To reveal whatever defenses we might have been hiding." 6 months of gathering intelligence on Valkyrie tactics had taught them this much. The Empire often used intimidation as a first strike, hoping to force weaker opponents to exhaust their resources before the real battle began. "Earth Command is requesting authorization to implement Thunderbolt Protocol," Kim said, her voice steady despite the implications. Park was silent for a moment. Thunderbolt meant revealing at least some of humanity's true capabilities, a step they couldn't take back. "The Valkyrie ambassador requested an urgent meeting," Lee added. "Likely to deliver an ultimatum." Park nodded. "I'll meet with him. Keep our visible defenses at minimum activity. Standard patrol ships only, nothing more." When Park entered the diplomatic chamber, Ambassador Tark was waiting, all 4 of his arms crossed in what humans had learned was a posture of smug confidence. "Admiral Park," the Valkyrie said without formal greeting. "My fleet approaches your home system as we speak." "We've noticed," Park replied calmly. "May I ask why?" Tark's scales shimmered with amusement. "The Confederation has proven weak. Too cautious. Too diplomatic." He spat the last word as if it tasted bad. "It's time for the Valkyrie Empire to expand more aggressively." "And you start with Earth?" "We're hardly a threat." "Precisely," Tark said. "A perfect demonstration to the Confederation of what happens when we decide to take what we want. Your primitive defenses will make an excellent example." Park maintained his neutral expression. "I see. Surrender your system now," Tark continued, "and perhaps we'll allow your species to survive as workers. We've seen your military capability, or lack thereof. You have 6 hours to decide." After Tark left, Park returned to the command center where his team awaited orders. "The Valkyrie fleet has taken up position near Mars," Kim reported. "They've destroyed our decoy base there as a demonstration." "Any casualties?" Park asked. "None. The base was automated, as planned." Park opened a secure channel to Earth. General Choi's face appeared on the screen, her expression grim. "You've heard their terms?" Park asked. We have, Choi confirmed. The Defense Council vote was unanimous. Thunderbolt is authorized. Park took a deep breath. Understood. Initiating now. Throughout the solar system, hidden systems began powering up. On Earth's moon, what appeared to be dormant craters suddenly shimmered as concealment fields deactivated. Beneath Europa's ice, advanced warships began rising toward the surface. In the asteroid belt, mining operations transformed into weapon platforms. The Valkyrie commander opened a communication channel to Earth. His red-scaled face filled the screen in Earth's defense headquarters. "Your time grows short, humans," he said. "Your pathetic fleet of 20 ships cannot hope to stand against us. We count 300 vessels in your system. All will be destroyed if you resist." General Choi stood before the communication screen. "We understand. Our response is being prepared." The Valkyrie commander laughed. "Your Confederation allies cannot help you. They are dealing with our attacks elsewhere." "We weren't counting on them," Choi replied simply. As the Valkyrie fleet approached Earth, they encountered only what they expected: a small line of outdated defense ships that took up position near the moon. "Final warning," the Valkyrie commander broadcast. "Surrender or be destroyed." Admiral Park, now back in Earth's orbital command station, gave the order everyone had prepared years for: execute Thunderbolt. The effect was immediate. The Valkyrie sensors suddenly detected hundreds of new energy signatures appearing throughout the system. The moon's surface rippled as hidden hangar doors opened. From Earth's oceans, massive vessels rose into the sky. "What deception is this?" the Valkyrie commander demanded, his confidence visibly shaken. Park opened a direct channel to the Valkyrie flagship. "No deception, Commander. Just strategy. You're seeing humanity's true military power for the first time." The first shots were fired moments later when a Valkyrie cruiser attempted to target the moon base. Before its weapons could discharge, 3 previously invisible human vessels appeared alongside it. Their weapons, based on principles the Valkyrie had never encountered, cut through the alien ship's shields as if they weren't there. The battle for Earth had begun. The Valkyrie commander's face showed pure shock as his viewscreen filled with images of Earth's true defenses emerging from hiding. What had appeared to be simple asteroids suddenly split open to reveal weapon platforms. Earth's moon, which scans had shown to be mostly barren, now bristled with advanced defense systems as concealment fields deactivated. "Impossible," he whispered. "Our intelligence." His tactical officer interrupted in a panicked voice. "Commander! Human vessels approaching from multiple vectors. Their energy signatures don't match anything in our database." The massive Valkyrie dreadnought shuddered as the first barrage hit. Their shields, designed to withstand known Confederation weapons, flickered under the assault of unfamiliar energy patterns. In Earth's orbital command station, Admiral Park watched the battle unfold with calm focus. Earth's hidden fleet moved with precise coordination, applying tactics developed over centuries of human warfare but never before seen in space combat. "The Valkyrie are attempting to regroup near Mars," reported Lieutenant Kim. "Their communications show confusion about our weapons technology." Captain Lee nodded with satisfaction. "The quantum disruption fields are working exactly as designed. Their shields cannot adapt to what they don't understand." One of Earth's specialized vessels demonstrated this perfectly. The sleek black ship, shaped like an ancient manta ray, approached a Valkyrie cruiser without firing a single conventional weapon. Instead, it projected an energy field that simply caused the alien vessel's outer hull to lose molecular cohesion. The ship didn't explode, it simply fell apart into component materials. The Valkyrie commander opened an emergency channel to Earth. "What is this treachery? You hid your true capabilities." Admiral Park responded calmly. "Not treachery. Strategy. We showed you what we wanted you to see. These weapons violate Confederation protocols." "Weapons we never shared with the Confederation cannot violate their protocols," Park replied. "We kept our most advanced technology to ourselves, just as your empire has done." The battle continued across the solar system. Earth's defense doctrine became clear to the stunned Valkyrie. Humans fought unlike any species they had encountered. Instead of confronting strength with strength, human vessels targeted communication systems first, then propulsion, leaving weapons for last. They fought to disable rather than destroy when possible, a concept foreign to Valkyrie military thinking. From hidden bases beneath Europa's ice, a second wave of human ships emerged. These specialized vessels targeted the Valkyrie flagship directly. Unlike conventional space battles where ships fired from distance, these human craft approached at impossible speeds, their hulls shifting to absorb enemy fire. "They're changing their molecular structure," a Valkyrie scientist reported in disbelief. "The hulls are adapting to our weapons as we fire." Earth had kept this technology, the result of centuries of research into programmable matter, completely hidden from galactic society. The Valkyrie commander watched in horror as his support vessels were systematically disabled. His communications officer reported that signals were being received from across the Confederation. Other species were watching the battle through hijacked Valkyrie communication channels. Humanity was making sure the galaxy witnessed their true power. Ambassador Tark, watching from the Confederation station, gripped the console before him with all four hands. "This cannot be happening," he hissed. "They were primitive. We saw their technology." The Confederation representatives around him remained silent, equally shocked by the display of previously unknown human military capability. In orbit around Earth, Admiral Park directed the final phase of the battle. The Valkyrie dreadnoughts, the pride of their fleet, were now surrounded by smaller human vessels that had attached themselves to specific points on the massive ships. "Final warning," Park transmitted to the Valkyrie commander. "Power down your weapons or we will be forced to disable your vessels permanently." The commander, his ship systems failing around him, slammed his fist down. "Valkyrie, do not surrender." "Then you leave us no choice," Park replied. The small devices attached to the dreadnoughts activated simultaneously. Rather than explosions, they created localized energy fields that shut down all power generation within the massive ships. One by one, the lights on the Valkyrie vessels went dark. Captain Lee approached Admiral Park with an update. "All three dreadnoughts neutralized. Their life support remains functional, but weapons and engines are completely disabled." "And our losses?" Park asked quietly. 7 ships damaged, 2 critically. No ships destroyed. Casualty reports still coming in, but initial numbers are low. Park nodded solemnly. Every life lost weighed heavily, but by revealing their true strength now, they had potentially prevented a much larger conflict. As the disabled Valkyrie flagship drifted in space, its commander received one final transmission from Admiral Park. "For centuries, humanity fought itself, developing weapons and tactics you cannot imagine. When we united and looked to the stars, we decided to hide our strength until necessary. Today was necessary. Remember this moment. Earth stands ready to be a friend to peaceful species and a formidable enemy to those who threaten us." The Grand Hall of the Confederation Council had never been so full. Representatives from every member species crowded the tiered seating, their quiet conversations creating a constant murmur that filled the massive chamber. At the center of attention stood Admiral Park, dressed in Earth's formal military uniform for the first time since joining the Confederation. 2 weeks had passed since the battle in Earth's solar system. The news had spread quickly throughout the galaxy. Humans, thought to be a primitive, newly spacefaring species, had defeated a major Valkyrie battle fleet without suffering a single ship loss. The Confederation president, a tall being with crystalline features, called the chamber to order. "We gather today to address the recent conflict between Earth and the Valkyrie Empire, and its implications for galactic security." All eyes turned to Admiral Park as he stepped forward to address the council. "For centuries, humans fought against each other on our home planet," Park began, his voice steady. "These conflicts, while tragic, taught us valuable lessons. The most important being, true strength lies not just in powerful weapons, but in when and how you choose to reveal them." The chamber remained silent as he continued. "When we joined the Confederation, we made a choice to hide our full capabilities. Not out of dishonesty, but out of caution. History taught us that appearing too powerful can provoke fear, while appearing too weak can invite aggression. On the far side of the chamber, Ambassador Tark sat with the remaining Vekari delegation. His once proud posture was noticeably diminished. The defeat had cost him status within the Empire. The Vekari Empire believed they could take our world easily, Park continued. They saw only what we allowed them to see: outdated technology and minimal defenses. Their mistake was assuming that was all we had. Captain Lee operated a small device that projected images above the council floor, Earth's hidden fleet emerging from concealment, advanced weapon systems activating throughout the solar system, and Vekari ships being disabled by technology no one in the Confederation had seen before. We never shared our most advanced developments because we didn't know who we could trust, Park explained. Throughout human history, technological advantages have often been temporary. The side that reveals all its capabilities first usually loses in the long term. A representative from one of the oldest Confederation species stood to speak. This deception violates the spirit of our alliance. How can we trust humans now? Park nodded in acknowledgement of the concern. Trust must be earned over time. We kept our true strength hidden until we were directly threatened. Would your world have done differently? How many species here maintain secret research or hidden defenses? The uncomfortable shifting of many representatives answered his question. Lieutenant Kim stepped forward with a data device. We are now prepared to share some of our defensive technologies with trusted Confederation allies. Not as a threat, but as a contribution to collective security. The council chamber erupted in excited conversation. Many species had already sent diplomatic requests to Earth, seeking alliances and technology exchanges after witnessing the battle recordings. In a quieter part of the station, Admiral Park later met with the Confederation's military council. General Choi had arrived from Earth to join these sensitive discussions. Your tactical approach was unexpected, the Confederation's defense minister admitted. Disabling rather than destroying enemy vessels. Targeting communications before weapons. Humans learned long ago that destroying an enemy creates lasting hatred, General Choi explained. Defeating them while minimizing casualties offers a better chance for future peace. The Vekari Empire has requested formal peace negotiations, the minister informed them. For the first time in their recorded history. Park allowed himself a small smile. Sometimes the most effective show of strength is restraint. Over the following days, human military advisors began working with Confederation defense forces, teaching them concepts that humanity had refined over centuries: asymmetric warfare, strategic deception, adaptive tactics, and proportional response. In what was perhaps the most symbolic moment of the new era, Ambassador Tark requested a private meeting with Admiral Park. Your species deceived us completely, Tark said, his translator struggling to convey the complex emotions in his voice. We showed you what you expected to see, Park corrected. Your expectations blinded you to other possibilities. Tark was silent for a moment. My superiors wish to know if Earth plans to take revenge against Vekari worlds. Park shook his head. That was never our intention. We defended ourselves, nothing more. Why did you not destroy our fleet when you had the chance? It would have been logical. Because peace is always the ultimate goal of war, Park replied. At least, that's what humans believe. As Tark departed, Lieutenant Kim entered with a final report from Earth Command. The Confederation has requested we lead the reform of their defense strategy, she said. And 17 species have already requested diplomatic relations with Earth. Park looked out at the stars visible through the station's viewport. Humanity's place in the galaxy had changed forever. They had revealed their strength not to conquer or dominate, but to secure their rightful place among the stars.